Alrighty, so today we are moving on to something called slope. Now, I hope you have heard of this before in your Algebra 1 class, maybe your Algebra 2 class. But anyways, the slope, it is a very important concept. That's why I have highlighted and starred it. And so the definition is the ratio, which means, I hope you know, ratio means fraction. Okay, a ratio of the change in y coordinates or y values to the change in x coordinates. So change in y, fraction, so over the change in x. This little box is going to be for the slope formula. Okay, incredibly important formula. It's amazing. I would memorize it. So slope has the letter M. Do not forget that. Slope, the letter is M. We said it was going to be a fraction, so here's our fraction. So the change in y on top and the change in x on the bottom. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say y, the second y minus the first y, and the second x minus the first x. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Like I said, this is a very important formula, and if I were you, I would probably try my best to memorize it. It will come up on ACTs, things like that. It's incredibly significant. So let's look at example 1. The directions say, find the slope of the line that passes through those points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to underline. I'm going to use blue for my y's. So y2 minus y1 is blue. Remember, the y's are the second numbers. And green for my x's. So there's my x, x2 minus x1. And we just plug them in. So let's do the y's first. y2, the second y, is 5, minus the first y is 3, over the x's, the second x is 2, minus the first x is negative 4. Okay, I have two negatives there because it's minus a negative. Okay, so 5 minus 3 is 2, over 2 minus negative 4 is the same thing as 2 plus 4, which is 6. So 2 over 6 can reduce down to 1/3. So our slope here is 2 over 6, or 1/3. All you got to do is know the formula and plug it in. So here's another problem. 1, negative 3, and 3, 5. Again, I'm going to do my y's in blue. So the formula was y2 minus y1. And here are my two y's. I've underlined them. And then my greens are my x's. Here's the one x, and here's the other x. So x2 minus x1. Okay, let's plug them in. The y's go first. The second y is 5 minus the first y is negative 3. Over. For the green, the second y is, or the second x is 3 minus the first x is 1. So on top we have 5 minus negative 3, which is the same thing as 5 plus 3. So 5 plus 3 is 8. And on the bottom we have 3 minus 1, which is 2. And hopefully you know that 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that is the slope of the second problem. So example 3 has a line, and it says find the slope of this line. Find the slope of this line. It would be a good idea to copy this into your notes. this would be a good time to pause and just copy it down. I have 2 points already there that should help you connect the dots. So my steps are, step 1, locate 2 points on this graph. So the first point we'll do this one, which is we went over -2 and we went up 0. So the first point is -2, 0. The second point, the bottom one, is we went left and right 0, we went down 3. I'm going to erase my arrows. So those are our 2 points. That's step 1. Locate 2 points on the graph. Then we can use our formula like we have been doing. So blue is the y's, y2 minus y1, and green is the x's, x2 minus x1. And we just plug it in. So let's see if we can do it. The top would be the second y is -3 minus the first y is 0. And on the bottom, the second x is 0 minus the first one, which is -2. Okay, on the top we have -3 minus nothing, which is just -3. And on the bottom we have 0 minus a -2, which is the same thing as 0 plus 2, which is 2. So that's one way to find the slope. This is option number 1, okay? Or I have option number 2, which is count from point to point using rise over run. So rise over run means we're going to go up first, and then we're going to go left or right. So this is what we do. Our y's are blue, right? So I'm going to start at this bottom point, okay? And I'm going to travel to the other point. If I were to go in a straight line up and then a straight line over, how many would I have to go up? Let's see. Let me do it again. Here we went 1, 2, 3. So this is 3 units up. Okay, so now how many did we go left? 1, 2, so 2 units left. Is up usually a positive or a negative number? If we're going up, that's generally in the positive direction, wouldn't you say? So a +3 over rise, and then the left, is left usually negative or positive? I think it's usually negative. So -3 over 2. You might say, Miss Powers, this and this are not the same. But I would like to say, yes, they are. It doesn't matter if you have the negative in the top or bottom. This and the 2 black boxes are the same exact thing. So now, finally, we have the last example. Find the slope of the line and just use rise over run. Okay, well, that's easy. We can do that. Let's choose 2 points again like we did. It can be any 2 points at all. I'm going to choose 2 that are closer together. I think that's a good move. So let's say we start here and we move up to the next one. Up and over. So how many did we move up? 1, 2. So we moved 2 up. So 2, and it's positive because up is positive. And we moved 1 unit right. Well, right is usually positive as well. So here our slope is 2 over 1. What is 2 over 1 the same as? 2 divided by 1 is 2. So here our slope is just 2. That's the end of the notes today, but I would like to just refresh you. So the negatives, if you move negative, it is down and left. Those 2 are going to be negative. And the positive moves are up and right. So if you move up, it's positive. If you move down, it's negative. If you move right, it's positive. If you move left, it's negative. So keep that in mind when you do your rise over run. But for now, that's all I have.